All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Commissions Unlocked. I'm your new host, Jason Stager. We're super excited to start giving you guys more content. We've had a bit of a lull period with our posting of episodes. We kind of decided, with my role being one of the founders of Legacy, traveling around all the time, it just makes a lot more sense for me to be hosting these podcasts and going and talking to people all over Canada. I'm here today actually with your ex-host, Walid. He's going for some big things in the industry, and they just don't have time to maintain a podcast like this anymore. So I'm super excited. And, today, Walid Elias, one of my close friends, third year in the door-to-door sales industry. You were the top sophomore at Aveda last year, and you're the co-owner of one of the Vancouver branches, and you've done this all in 2 years. Welcome.
Thank you. No, thank you. I'm honored to be on the other side of the podcast now. A lot has happened. A lot of grown. A lot of growth for sure. And it made a lot of sense that it's you the one that's taking the lead with the podcast, because I feel like we have just so much value to give to the other sales reps, to the door-to-door industry and the sales industry in general. And we have so much talent in Legacy that it just made sense that we continue to grow and do it with you. But thank you, man. I'm honored. I'm honored to be here. Honestly, I am.
Absolutely. So this was one I was excited about because I've been working closely with Walid on marketing, on building brands, and a lot of people, if you talk to them inside of Legacy, they'll say that Walid has the best mindset in Legacy. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys, kind of keep that theme of mindset. So we'll go through your story, and there will be a couple pieces where I want to kind of really dive deep into your mindset and kind of how you cultivated it. But let's start off with your childhood, because you're obviously been in Canada for a little bit, but not forever. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
So yeah, I was. I always tell this story to my guys just because I find a little bit of inspiration on it. But I was born and raised in Colombia, South America. And for those of you who don't know, Colombia, it's a beautiful country. I recommend all of you guys going and visiting at some point. But opportunities are just far in between, right? For young guys like me. And I feel like growing up, I always had this ambition, this deep, burning desire inside my heart that I wanted to, just achieve great things. And I knew that Colombia was just not the right place for me to grow, at least on the early stages of my career. And I actually grew up playing soccer. And soccer was kind of like my everything. It was my life. I wanted to grow and become a professional soccer player. And when I was 16, I had a couple knee surgeries that kind of like put a stop to my career. I had a broken meniscus on one knee, and then a broken ACL on my left knee. Both on the same year. It was bad for me. Like I remember, going out of the doctor's office just crying, because that was my only plan, A, B, C, D. Like that was my only goal in life, and that was my way to like go out and grow and kind of like fulfill that potential, like close that gap in between my potential and my current state. And after that happened, I was kind of like left without any plans. And then it was my mom who made me come to Canada. She was like, okay, you're going to Canada. At the beginning, I wasn't very sure about Canada, but she made me do it. And then my parents worked very hard to get me here. I went to university in Kamloops here in BC, Canada. And that's where I met you guys. That's where I met Legacy. That's where my growth started. And it's funny that you mentioned that, that thing about mindset, because I I didn't have this, the mindset that I carry right now. I wasn't born with this mindset. I wasn't born with the goals that I have right now. It's all legacy, right? And we always talk about proximity. We always talk about surrounding yourself with the right people, but it's just the people that I had around myself that made me grow into the person that I am today. So, and even a lot of people, they that do sales, a lot of them, like I was talking to Juan, Bruno, they co-managed one of the branches out here in Vancouver with me for Pest Innovata, and they all had like entrepreneurship backgrounds where they all grew up like selling shit and just like with that business mindset, right? And I didn't. I never really did. Like, dude, before doing door to door, I never sold a thing in my life, never. And so I wasn't born with this entrepreneurial mindset. I grew into it, right? Like I developed it. So it just also goes to show that, yeah, you can grow into the person that you wanna become. But it wasn't until I met sales that I fall in love with business. I fall in love with entrepreneurship, and I grew into it.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about before sales, because you're talking about the people around you that help you grow. I would put you in that category for me as well, actually, because I remember when I first met you and you were just beating your head against the wall that I hadn't built up a really strong personal brand yet, and you helped me a lot with that. So what were you doing before sales in Canada?
So I was just I was going to university, and my plan was really just like, I guess, graduate and find a good job, and like that's the thing, right? Like after soccer, I was left without no plans. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to make a lot of money and grow and have a nice family and all that stuff, but I just didn't know how. I didn't know how, and it wasn't until I tried sales, and I'm a very, like, my brain is very logical. So if I have to like have a path, like even when I was playing soccer, like I knew how many times I had to shot to score a goal, right? So it's the same thing with sales, right? It gives you that same path where I know how many doors I need to knock every single day to go ahead and make so many deals, right?
Yeah.
And before doing sales, I was actually doing photography and videography. Like I was doing filmmaking for brands and stuff like that. But it's the same thing, right? Like I was actually knocking on doors. Like I would go to businesses like restaurants in downtown, and I would offer my services. I would be like, hey, your menu sucks. Like I can shoot way better. Like not quite literally, but I would literally go and offer like, hey, I can do this video for this much. And I was just, but I was always like a hustler. Like I guess, that was a little bit of selling. But really before that, I never really even, expected to grow into the person that I am today. It wasn't until I did door-to-door sales that,
you found that path. He's very, very good at marketing as well. He's very good at photography and videography. So
thank you.
We still will use Walid every now and then if we need him. But
appreciate it.
But so first year, you have a very, very interesting door-to-door sales career. If we look at the average career in door-to-door, where you're going into your third year now, so you've had 2 full summers so far, and you've done 2 completely different industries in that time. So let's start off with TELUS, because that's where you started. Maybe you could tell us a bit about your first year in sales with TELUS and how that kind of went for you.
Yeah, so I came on my rookie year. I was selling security. I was selling alarms. Great experience, by the way. Like, shout out to the TELUS program. It's it's a great program overall, and that was my first introduction to door to door. And I like to say that I was I had a pretty good summer. Like for a rookie, I installed 136 alarms.
It's very good.
Yeah, which is very good for a first year. And we were also selling telecom, like internet, TV, all that stuff. And I did about like 90 of those or something like that. But so it was well above like 200 RGUs. And I had a great summer, and I just fall in love with commissions. I just fall in love with sales. And I dude, I think I'll be doing sales forever. But yeah, no, first year was selling alarms. Great summer.
So you end with over 200 RGUs. You would be like for sure the top 5 in the company for where you're at in your career. And then you make the controversial move to leave that and go and start a completely new industry with a new company, Aveda. Why would you do that? First of all, what about that? Why did you make that decision?
Yeah, so like I said, but like by the way, the Telos program is amazing. So I honestly
Shout out Knock.
yeah, shout out, Knock, for everything they did to me. I'll be forever grateful to all the folks out there and all the people that I learned from. But for me, like I always think about growth. I always think about what's coming next. I think that one of the things that I've always tried to live by is not just think about this next year, like 1 year. I try to think like 2, 3, 5, 4 years ahead, and I just saw a little bit more growth here in Aveda. Mm-hmm. And that's where I decided to stick. Obviously, like Aveda now is has the PR program, which also kind of like incentivizes a lot of us to come out here and sell. But it's mostly just the growth that I saw here, and the main thing above everything is I really understood the gap in the market. Mm-hmm. Like and Alarm is a great product. It's a great service to sell, and I never think it's a product. It's always a salesman. But I saw the potential of growth for pest control in Canada. Like we all know what the people in the States do with pest control, and it's an untapped market here in Canada. Like Aveda is only 2 years old, 2 summers in, like 3 years old, but really 2 summers in, mm-hmm. right? And we're only scratching the surface. Like we're just learning how to sell this thing a year ago, right? A couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So I just understood that there's a huge market that if you get in early and can capitalize and learn the right skills, you can build this thing and blow it up. And that's what we're doing. Like we've proven ourselves that we can sell it and that we can be pretty successful at selling pest control. So yeah, I would say it's just I saw the gap in the market. I could see how much it could grow mm-hmm. in the future, and that's why I jumped in. And then I was so lucky to have my boys, Bruno and Juan jump with me, because mm-hmm. I don't think it would have been as easy as a transition if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I heard you talk about thinking long term. You're always thinking long term, thinking 2, 3, 4, 5 years in advance. It's actually one of the key determinants of success in business is the ability to think long term. And I've talked about this a bunch before, where you look at Google, you look at all these big companies that the biggest companies in the world, they don't think short term. They're not thinking, even next year, 5 years from now. A lot of these big organizations have 100-year plans.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. 100 years. How do you even know what's going on in 10?
Yeah.
And they have 100-year plan. So that thought process to think long term, it's something I see a lot of newer people in this industry. They don't have it. They're always thinking about right now. Oh, it sucks right now. This sucks. That sucks. Where does that come from? The ability to think long term, for you at least.
I think that's one of the things that it's a good question, but I think it's one of those things that just comes natural to me. Like I'm generally, and I don't know if it's a blessing or if it's a curse or if it's something that I should change. I don't know. As of now, it's worked for me, but I think I'm just generally always worried about like what am I gonna be doing next. Like I'm always worried. Like sure, like I'm thinking about this upcoming summer and my goals right now, but I even like look way ahead of that, because I'm thinking, okay, now once I hit this goal, like what am I gonna do next? What am I gonna do? And I'm just like genuinely worried to not be kind of like left behind. I don't know. Like yeah. I'm just genuinely, like worried that I'm not gonna know, what the next like good thing is to be on top of. I don't know.
And that's it's actually a common thing with top performers that I've found in sales and in business in general is paranoia. They're a little bit paranoid that people are catching up to them.
Maybe that's
I have
maybe
it
that's
too.
what I have. Yeah. I don't know.
You're worried people are going to pass you, right? And it's that's paranoia. So That's super common with a lot of top performers. But okay, yeah. So you're kind of blessed with the ability to think long term. I feel like I have that a bit as well. But I think a big takeaway is just how do you get into those thought processes where you can think a little bit further ahead, because I believe that we live in a world of instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
Anything you want is there in a second. Everything that's worth it is delayed gratification. Anything that's actually worth it, it takes time. So it's a thought process that I think, hopefully people can listen and try to cultivate that mindset, because it's super important in business, but it's also super important in sales, obviously, as well. So I wanted to talk to you about the transition into pest control, because
Tough.
yeah, you got to think.
It's tough.
You go from being one of the top people in an industry to now going into a brand new industry. And I saw a lot of struggle from our alarm guys coming over to pest. So what was that like? What was, maybe you could walk us through your first, 2 months, because I know that was always a struggle for a lot.
Yeah, like it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I tell my story now to some, first years, and they almost don't, I don't know, for some reason they almost don't believe it. But I remember coming in, and so, and by the way, I also came in with, for some reason, I don't know why, I came in with a little bit of an ego.
Yeah.
And in past, it's literally not much, but if you're selling 1, 2, 3 alarms every single day, you're as a rookie, you're gonna have a good summer. That's what I was selling, right? I had a few 4 or 5 days too, in the summer, which is great for a rookie. If you're selling, that amount of deals in the summer in alarms, you're that's how you go ahead and have great summers, right? But so I thought I was gonna come and I was gonna do if I can sell 2, 3 alarms in a day, I'm gonna sell 5, 6, 7 pests every day, easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't. It's just a different sale. It's just a different type of sale. Some things transfer. In fact, most things transfer, but it's just a totally different energy. It's a different product, it's a different service. You have to almost relearn a lot of things from zero.
Yeah.
And I didn't, took any of that into consideration. I just, thought I knew it all.
Yeah.
And ego is your worst enemy. Ego is your worst enemy in the industry. You always have to almost, remain humble.
Yeah.
Always. Because ego is going to come back and it's going to beat your ass. And sooner or later it's going to make you lose if you don't, get it out your mind, right? So, yeah, so I came in with a lot of ego, and I thought it was going to be easy. It wasn't. A bagel for the first 2 weeks. So I just pictured that, right? I was, for me, even the thought of going out and not selling wasn't there anymore, right? I had already, quote unquote, gone through that stage, right? Yeah. And I remember my first day I went out, it was a Saturday, on the blitzes that we did at the beginning of the year. I didn't sell, but I was like, okay, it's just one day, it's a transition day, whatever. And then I came back on the Monday, and then I didn't sell. And then I came back on the Tuesday, and I actually sold 2 accounts. And I'm like, okay, it's done. I figure it out. I figure it out, baby. Let's go. All the deals are going to come now. And then went ahead and bagel for 8 days.
8 days after that.
Yeah, 8 days. And by the way, these are not half days. I wasn't working 4 or 6 hours every day. I was putting 8 to 9 hour shifts every single day. So that was, I think I sold on the Tuesday, and then it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then another 4 days on the next week where I didn't sell. And so it was a little bit less than 2 weeks that, with no deals, and I was going out hard. And that just made me realize that I had to learn it all from zero. I sit back down. I love this quote from Abraham Lincoln that says, if you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend the first 5 sharpening the axe. And
I love that.
And it's just so, it's so important with sales, right? Training is so important. And I neglected it, and I didn't train, and you pay the price.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I remember going into pest. it humbles you naturally, I feel like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
a lot of us have a similar story where we were, doing well in our chosen industry with alarms, and we didn't train. We thought we were going to go crush it, do 10 spots every day. And, yeah, it was eye opening. It was very healthy though. I feel like for my business career, I think it probably would be for you too, going through that struggle
Yeah.
and getting past it. But yeah, it was tough. I think, something that you'll find difficult that I see with a lot of people as they get more and more experienced is relating to a rookie's experience.
Yep.
And what that did for me when I went out there and I was just hitting doors and not getting anything, it made me remember what it was like to be a rookie again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you almost have to become a rookie again when you go into a new industry.
Absolutely, and approach it with that same mindset, right? And almost like, but like imagine how powerful would it be if you can approach every single summer with the same mindset, and just with the humility to understand that you have to keep training and keep improving yourself, right? That because that's the issue. Like a lot of us, even in the summer, we neglect training. Like we forget how important training is. And yeah, like you have to keep sharpening that axe, man. Like you have to keep training because like you can always get better. You can always get better. You're never gonna reach a point where you just know it all. Yeah, sure. Like a lot of it is mindset. A lot of it is comes from within, but a lot of it is just what Like a lot of people say like, oh, the pitch doesn't matter. This doesn't matter, but it kind of does. Like it is important to know your stuff, right? It is important to know your bug facts. It's important to know closing. It is like you have to understand all these concepts like so deep before you even have the mindset to go ahead and crush it, right? So it's just a foundation of it all, and mindset. I swear by it. It's something that I have studied, very very strongly for the past few years. Just mindset because I'm passionate about it, but just the training, your sales knowledge is the base of it.
I love that. So I guess like they're almost dichotomies where I don't know if you know what a dichotomy is, where they're opposites almost.
Yeah.
But when you're going into that scenario, because I don't know if you've heard a lot of Golden Doors talk about the most important thing is belief, right? It's essentially believing you're actually going to do it.
Yep.
So how do you battle that belief while also checking your ego at the same time? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I actually have a good answer for that. So I think that humility and confidence are beautiful dance partners. They are. They really are. So I think that the magic happens when you have so much confidence in yourself where you believe that you can actually achieve anything that you set your mind to, while at the same time understanding that you're just a human being and that there's so much that you need to learn to even get to that point. And I believe that you cannot go to any extreme. Like belief without the humility to understand that you don't know everything, it's so important. Like it doesn't work. It's not gonna work, right? So you have to almost find that balance between understanding that you're the best. Like I tell this to myself every single time when I'm outdoors. Like I'm telling myself, I'm the best. 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 I'm the best to ever do it. Like I tell myself this.
Like out loud.
Like out loud,
right?
yeah. Like in between doors, like my self talk is always just positive. Every single time that I'm out the doors, I'm telling, hey, I love myself. Like my positive talk is always there. But I also like, when I come back home, I also have the humility to like know everything that I, lacked on in the day. Like I write down all the objections that I got that I couldn't resolve, and then I write them down and I study and I train to be ready for the next day. Obviously, when I'm there the next day, it's easy for me to tell myself that I'm the best because I'm building that proof. Like I'm building that how Alex Ramosi says, right? That undeniable stack of proof that you say that you are that you are the person who you say you are. So yeah, when I tell that I'm the best, it's because I backed it up, because I have the humility to come back every night and reflect on everything that I did wrong.
Yeah.
And I just believe that humility and confidence are beautiful dance partners, and if you can balance those out, you're gonna have a great summer.
That makes so much sense. So to create belief, you're saying you're doing the actions, right? I always say to create confidence, you need to be competent. The way you create competence was repetition, right?
Yep.
So you're just putting the work in. So when you get back into those situations, you look back, you say, I already did the work. You know, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I you know, and a lot of people say like, oh, you have to like fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you do, like you sometimes you have to lie to your subconscious mind, and you have to tell, you know, that little part of your brain that maybe you're a much better version of yourself than what you actually are right now. But you also have to back it up with actual real action, because if you don't, then it won't have any effect on you. Like, I could tell myself that I'm the best, but if I don't know my objections in and out, if I don't write down 3-5 objection responses to every single one, and I don't, you know, learn them word by word, like, how am I gonna believe it, right? The reason why I believe I'm the best is because I keep doing the work every single day to prove it to myself, right? I wake up early, I train, and I do all the stuff that reinforces that affirmation. Because affirmations are great. Like I said, like, you have to, you know, your self-talk needs to be positive, but you cannot just rely on affirmations. You have to back it up with massive action.
Yeah, okay. I like that. So it's basically the actions you're putting in and day out that create that belief, is what you're saying.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Because I just remember talking to you, you know, when you were going through that, and I was blown away at your mindset. It was unwavering. I don't think there was ever a point where you even really said anything negative. You were like, this is tough, but I'm going to go do this. I'm still going to do it. And you ended the year with just under 200K in service revenue, which is mind blowing for switching industries and going and doing that right away in your second year. You're talking about doing the actions day in and day out, even when you don't want to. And that kind of relates to discipline. You clearly have a very strong discipline that you've developed, I'm assuming, over the years.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk about cultivating discipline, because I believe that all these skills are learnable. I think every single thing we've talked about, you can develop yourself in that area.
Absolutely.
So what kind of actions or what kind of tips would you have for people to develop the discipline that you have created?
Yeah. So the first thing is, like, you have to understand that just like every other muscle in your body, your brain is, you can shape it. Just how you do, you know, your bicep curls to grow your biceps, you can train your brain to shape it the way you want it to be shaped. And one of the things that, you know, and this actually, you know, it's backed up by science. I'm not just saying this. Like, you guys can go Google it, but, like, doing hard things actually changes the chemistry of your brain. It's scientifically proven that every time you do something that's hard for yourself, for your brain, it's changing the chemistry and how you perceive other hard things later on in life. So, yeah, to answer your question, like, how I build that discipline is, I just, you know, I put myself in harsh situations on purpose. Like, I wanted to do hard things, and my preparation in the off season is always doing hard things, right? It's like, you know, doing the cold dude, I don't do the cold plunges because it's like, sure, it has some health benefits. Like, I don't like, you know, whatever. Like, yeah, it relieves your anxiety. Like, I don't care. I genuinely don't. The only reason why I do the cold plunges is because I hate it. Mm-hmm. I don't like it. It's a feeling that, like, obviously it's not a pleasant feeling, but that's why I do it. Every time that I look at something that's hard and my brain is, you know, pushing me away from that uncomfort, I purposely jump into it, just because I understand that when it's 9:30 p.m. and we're going for, you know, the Dynasty Championship, and I have to keep knocking till 10 p.m. because we're, you know, behind for 2 deals, I'm going to think about all those times that I jumped in the cold plunge, that I did the hard thing, right? That I did the thing that was not comfortable. And if I can just, you know, again, prove to myself that I am the type of person that does hard things, then when I'm actually in front of a situation that's hard, it's going to be easier for me to do it, because I already know that I'm the type of person. I already know that I'm the type of person that can do hard things. So, yeah, like, you know, it's no coincidence that I'm out there at after 9:30 p.m. when it's maybe cold and raining, that I'm still knocking doors and I'm still banging people and pitching people, and when it's pitch dark, because
Mhm.
it's not hard. Like I mean, it is hard, but I've already done 100 more hard things before doing this. So this is not a new feeling, right?
It makes it easy.
Yeah.
It makes it easier at least.
Yeah.
And I forget where I saw this, but I saw that there's a part of your brain. I forget what piece of your brain it is, but it's the part of your brain that that is triggered when you don't want to do a hard thing, a difficult task. And I saw that that David Goggins has by far the largest part of this brain in the world. And that just shows you his literal brain has grown from just doing stuff that he doesn't want to do over and over and over again. We need to sign that guy and get him on the doors, dude. That guy is selling 10,000 first year.
Dude, let's do it. David Goggins, if you're listening to this, we've got a good deal for you in Legacy.
Yeah, best deal. So discipline, like going out and seeking, and I've seen this a lot with high performers. It's not even about sales. It's literally about going out and finding other activities. Like I know James, he's doing 3 marathons this year. Going out and doing things that you don't want to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just develops you as a person that you can't even really explain until you go out and start doing those things, right? But that makes total sense for discipline. The one I wanted to talk to you about as well is just like relating it all to mindset is vision, because I would say, we talked about it a bit before with having a long-term mindset. You have an amazing vision. You even open up my vision sometimes where I know we were in Cabo and we're talking about buying those houses. And I didn't have a vision like that when I was in your stage, when I hadn't, cracked those high incomes and, the walls had opened up and I'd seen what's possible in this world.
Yep.
You kind of have that already, which I haven't seen before with a lot of people. So where does that come from? You really believe that the world's yours, hey? It is. It is.
Yeah, not quite, but yeah, like I do, like I don't know, man, like it's this constant pursuit of being my greatest version. Like I'm very passionate about just exploiting my capabilities. Like I generally, and I was doing a training yesterday here at in Aveda about mindset, and I was just talking about that you have to find pleasure in growing yourself as a person. Like you have to genuinely find pleasure in doing the stuff that sucks. Because like every time that I'm knocking doors, yeah, sure, like I have a huge list of whys that I look up every morning, and I wake up every morning and I write down my goals. But when I'm at the doors, like I genuinely embrace this suck. Like I genuinely find pleasure on it. And the reason why is because I know that every time I'm getting rejected, every time that I'm overcoming objections, every time that I'm closing a deal, I'm growing as a person. I know that I am growing, and I just find absolute pleasure in the fact that I am growing, and I am becoming the man that I see in my vision, right? So I think that's where the vision comes from. It's just in being so obsessed in being the absolute best freaking version that I could be. I don't ever want to die and not know what that potential was. Like I just want to I think it also comes from aren't you curious to know what the best version of Jason could ever be like? Aren't you genuinely curious to see what your maximum potential could be in life?
Yeah.
I genuinely am, bro. I genuinely want to experience what it is to be my absolute best version, and I will work every single day to get to that point. And I find genuine pleasure in knocking doors. And I know it sounds weird for some people. It's like, oh man, but knocking doors is hard. It is, but that's the beauty of it. That it's hard and it sucks. And when it's raining and it's cold, and I know that a lot of people are coming back home because it's dark, and I'm still out there, it just feels so great. I feel it. It genuinely fires my heart. It fires my heart. So I think that's where the vision comes from. That I want to exploit this body in this physical realm that we got to experience. I just want to exploit it to the max. Yeah.
It's closing the gap between where you are and your true potential, right? That's life, is always trying to close that gap.
Yeah, and I believe that you will never truly.
You won't.
Yeah, you will never truly like completely close that gap, but at least the pursuit of it, right? The pursuit of constantly being a better version of yourself. That's what should excite you. Like, I don't want to be, I don't know, like 40, 50 years old and look back at my life and think that I could have done, so many things better.
Yeah, that's something that I think people need to think about more, is the fear of regret. You don't want to go, anything can happen. Things can happen like that, right? You don't want to get diagnosed with something or get sick and say, oh, I wish, right? So no, that's powerful. And I think if more people could emotionalize those feelings a little bit more, it would do a lot for them, like sales wise, income wise, career wise, all that stuff. So, it's powerful. So then, speaking on vision, where are you headed? Where are you going here for, like, let's fast forward a few years. What's your plans with Aveda? Yeah.
So, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, lately, it's changed a little bit, just because now I'm more worried about impact more than anything, just because I've seen the positive influence that this job has had in so many people, that I feel that it is now my duty. It is now, and I do it with honor, but it is now my duty to keep changing people's lives, like through door-to-door sales, because I believe that it's such a, I'm passionate about this job. I'm passionate about this industry, just because it's changed my life, and I've seen it change multiple people's lives. So I think I just wanna keep pursuing impact, like in the next 5 years, like obviously growing more teams. I want to jump into more of a regional role at some point, where I have multiple teams in Canada, and I see myself.
And then you're taking the podcast back over, or?
No, I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know, but no, I feel like you're a much better host than I'll ever be.
I appreciate it.
but yeah, no, it's just that I see myself, obviously, when you pursue impact, then obviously, like, there's a lot of things that come with it. Growing teams, being a regional, now overseeing a lot more programs, and keep showing this opportunity to as many people as I can. And yeah, like I'm passionate about sales, so I'll probably grow into a trainer. I'll probably grow into consulting, and I see myself with Aveda for a very long time. For the longest time, like, Aveda is my home now, here at Legacy, and I want to grow, and I want to grow this pest control industry here in Canada big, and I want to be the one of the pioneers that just blows up this whole industry.
I love that. Yeah, and I think impact, like creating impact, is something I see with a lot of successful business people in the world, honestly. And it kind of goes back to a quote that Brian Tracy said, that everything that you want in life, it'll come from showing people how to get what they want in life.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah.
So that's something I remember reading when I was starting in this industry, and it's kind of shaped the way I've moved in the career, is like, I'm here to teach other people to get what they want, which at the end, we get to build a bigger impact, and you'll get what you want out of that as well, right?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I love that.
So and the reason why I love this job so much is because while you get to help a lot of people, you also help yourself. Like, you also grow. And I wouldn't like to get to a point in my life where I'm at the top alone. Like, I want to try and lift as many people as I can and take them all with me. Like, that's all I wish for. There's no bigger accomplishment than being at the top with your people.
Totally.
And that's what I want to do. I want to lift as many people as I can and take them with me, because I know where I'm heading, and I'm confident of where I'm heading, and I just don't want to be selfish, to not think about other people while I get there.
He is hiring, by the way, if you guys are looking. So he's hiring. Okay, well,
Shoot me a text.
I appreciate your time so far, and I kind of wanted, a big question with your specific situation that I think I see a lot of it in Canada is internationals, you know, people that have come out here for school or whatever the path that has brought them here. They're not from Canada. Maybe English is their second language. And it's something I see a lot as like a recruiter and a team builder where that's like an objection in their head. Hey, I don't speak English, it's not my first language, right? And a lot of our top people, and this is what I always tell them, a lot of our top people aren't from Canada, right? And it's honestly because they just work harder than most Canadians, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But maybe you could give some advice for, you know, internationals that, you know, maybe have those concerns. Like I know you had some of those concerns when you came to Canada at first too.
Yeah.
Just maybe talk a little bit to the internationals seeking out sales jobs or seeking to get into the business world in Canada.
Yeah, like it's gonna sound very cliche. It's gonna sound, you know, so like it's gonna sound dumb, but like you literally set your limitations. You set your own limits. Like if you think that you're not gonna be able to sell as much as the top guys just because English is not your first language. Like English is not my first language either. I only learned the language about like 6 years ago, and when I came, it was bad, right? And but it's whether you decide to believe that that's gonna be a limitation for your future or not. Something that this job will do for you is that you will learn. Even when I started, even 3 years ago, when I started doing door-to-door sales, and I remember the first few days that I went out there, dude, my English wasn't perfect either. It wasn't good. It's not perfect. I'm not saying that it's perfect now, but dude, it wasn't good. Like it wasn't even good. You know what I mean? And I just, decided that was not gonna be a limitation for me to achieve my goals. Again, it all comes down to having that, if you truly care about your goals, if you truly have that deep desire in your heart that you're gonna do great things and that you're gonna use this job as a vehicle, it shouldn't be a limitation. It's honestly, it's just a dumb excuse to not perform, I think, because dude, sales is so scripted too. Like I didn't create it. I didn't create this pitch. It's pitch is the same. The objection responses are already there. You just go ahead and you literally just say what your manager tells you to say, and you're gonna sell. And then on the way, you're gonna learn, and by the time that the summer finishes, you're already gonna know. You've probably been in every single scenario that you could be, and you're gonna know how to react to all of those, anyways. But sales is so scripted too, right? I remember the first few days that I went out, the only thing that I care about is just getting my pitch out, and that's all I did. And then sometimes I would shoot something back at me that I didn't know how to like reply back to, and I'm like, okay, next door, right? And then if you just keep doing that, you're gonna close deals anyways. But I don't think it should be a limitation. I think that you should just jump off the cliff, and the language will come, like the other stuff will come.
I love that. That's huge. What's something, like, it sounds like you've had obviously some struggles, some obstacles through your career, but overall a super successful career so far in door-to-door. What's something you wish you could change in the last couple of years? If that's okay, if I ask that.
Yeah, like about my career. Like
what's something
my path?
You maybe regret or something you'd be like, I wish I did this differently?
Yeah, I didn't train on mindset early enough. I was focused on training a lot on the sales skills, like the actual sales knowledge, which I train a lot and I still do. Sales is just so big that you can never know it all. But this job is just a reality. It's 93% mindset, 7% skill set. And I was focusing on the 7%. I wasn't focusing on the 93% that matters the most and that actually moves the needle between top performers and average people. And that goes back to the language point, right? It doesn't matter as long as you have the mindset, the work ethic. If you can be a positive guy, or girl, if you can be very positive at the doors, and you work hard, there's no way you're not successful. If you can work your hours, if you do the right things, if the inputs are there, the outputs are gonna come, right? So yeah, I didn't train on mindset. Yeah, and we were just talking about how you can actually shape your brain to
Yeah.
get used to doing hard things. Like right, like during my first my first summer, I wasn't the tough guy that I finished this summer as. Like I was quitting early. Rainy days I wouldn't go out just because it was rainy. Like I could have done so much better in terms of mindset. And same goes to this summer. There's also so many things that I could have done way better in terms of mindset. Like I remember being sick one day and not going out.
We don't get sick.
Well, you should still go out.
I'm saying we don't get sick if you're doing doors.
Dude, like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like it's just mindset is so important. And if you train, early enough and you understand how important it is at the job, like that's when you actually make a difference for yourself.
Yeah, it's you against you out there. And I see that a lot where people want to go and practice the pitch or keep practicing on this objection handle or that. And the best thing you can do is just stay out there, just keep pushing. Because you need to feel that feeling of, oh, shoot, I need to go back and train.
And I know that it's also happened to you where, like, like rookies come to you or shadow you and they're like, oh, like, you don't say you don't say anything different. Like, it's just the same thing that I say. The pitch is the same. Everything's the same. You probably respond to this to the same objection to one objection the same way that a rookie does, but it's just your mindset behind it, right? It's your confidence. It's your you actually wanted it more. That all of that transfers. All of that just transfers over, and it just goes to show how important mindset is. It's not the stuff you say. It's how you say it.
I love that. Do you have anything else you want to touch on related to mindset? Because I know it's like a big topic for you. You've been researching it a lot. You've been working a lot on it. Is there anything else you want to add on mindset?
Yeah. So for for everyone that's listening, the one big piece of advice that I would give out in terms of mindset is just understand that it's a skill set that you can train on. That's the main thing. Understand that you can actually train yourself to have a better mindset. Like you actually can train yourself to be more positive. You can train yourself to work hard. It's not something that you're born with. In fact, I could tell you that I wasn't, born with the work ethic that I have right now. I wasn't positive. Growing up, like I didn't have this mindset, right? I developed it because I dedicated, my life to study. Like I dedicated my past few years to study mindset, and I studied the mindset of the top performers. And sometimes it's just like literally just selling yourself on an idea, right? Like I don't think that you should, and this is just like, me a couple of years ago, I thought that, I was not going to knock in the rain. I don't like knocking in the rain, right? But then I saw top performers and they were all knocking in the rain. So it's almost like I had to sell myself on the idea that knocking in the rain is good. And now it rains and I'm eager to go out just because it gives me another chance to prove to myself that I am the man who I say I am, and to build again that confidence. Every time that it's raining, I'm like, heck yeah, another chance to prove my confidence, and another chance to build up those wins, right? And I didn't have this perspective. I built it because I just copied it. I literally just copied and pasted. That's all I did. Okay, Jason says that knocking in the rain is good for this and this and that. Okay, I'm gonna think that knocking in the rain is good because of this and that, right? But I just had to convince myself that it was actually good, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of the time you have to see it yourself too. You have to see that going through the, knocking in the dark, it's the best time to knock, right? One more door, just pushing a little bit harder, and you see it work a few times, and you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
But no, that's huge, is you can develop. I believe that every single skill set in our life is developable. I think anything is. I think you can become whoever you want to be if you put the right efforts in the right areas. So that's powerful. It's huge that you've shaped yourself into this type of person through just conscious effort over time, right?
Yeah.
Focusing on specific things.
Yeah, that's a key word. It's just conscious effort in, growing.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And that's a big thing with us too at Legacy is, you know, I believe even I see it at Aveda, and we align a lot with the way that we, you know, position our businesses where, you know, we're basically a personal development company that's disguised as a sales company.
That's
right?
literally what we are.
And it's
I love when, I think it was James who said this, is we're just a personal development company with a compensation plan attached. I said, yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Like what we're building out here, it's bigger than sales. It's bigger than pest control. Like, it's just a vehicle to grow. It's a vehicle to develop ourselves. It's a vehicle for impact. Like, sure, like I understand the ins and outs of pest control now, but I'm not genuinely like passionate about killing people's bugs. You know what I mean? Like I'm not passionate about killing people's rats, but I understand that it's such a great service with a great price, and that, you know, people want and people need, and I just use it as a vehicle to grow myself emotionally, spiritually, financially, and it's not the product, it's not the service, it's just this, and like this is a vehicle, right? Everything that we're building out here, it's just bigger. It's bigger than pest control. It's bigger than sales. It's bigger than, and if you're watching this and you're thinking about doing door-to-door sales, it's worth it. And don't ever think that the product that you're selling, or, you know, the industry that you're in matters, because none of it matters. I could be selling plants door to door, and you'll still have the same impact that pest control has had on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's something I see a lot in this industry is selling yourself on whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? It's so important. Show me how sold you are on your opportunity, and I'll show you how good you'll be, right?
Yeah.
So I remember I was battling that in my first couple of years of the industry too, where I was like, dude, I don't care about alarms. Like, I don't care about these cameras. I don't care about any of this stuff. But you don't necessarily have to be, oh my gosh, the big camera guy or the pest guy that just loves this stuff. You have to be sold on the vehicle, right? This is a vehicle, and in order to really learn the mechanics of sales that I can transfer these skills over, I need to learn everything I can about alarms, about pest control, right? Because that's the only time that you start learning the intricacies of what's actually going on, is when you know everything about the product or the service, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's huge. Selling yourself on what you're doing. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to add to anything we've touched on? Is there any piece of advice you maybe could give to a first-year representative or someone that's just thinking about maybe getting into sales?
Yeah, just do it. Like, just do it. It's gonna be very uncomfortable. It's not gonna be fun at the beginning, but you shouldn't pursue fun anyways. If you want a good life, it's not gonna be fun, and if you want a great life, it's gonna be hard. You know, hard things are, but you know, it's only through doing hard things that you can, you know, go after the life that you desire. I promise you that if you're a young guy, if you're a young kid, if you're in college, and you're looking for an opportunity to grow, I believe that summer sales is really the best opportunity that there is out there. I don't care what it is that you're selling. I don't care if you come work with us or not. I don't care if it's with Legacy or with any other company. Just go and try summer sales. It's gonna change your life, and it's gonna make you a better human being. And if it's not until you try it that you can experience it, and it's gonna be hard, but you have to expect to do hard things if you want a life that's worth living.
I love that. Would you still do door to door if you didn't make money?
I feel like yes. So it's okay. Yeah, I'm glad that you asked that. Yes, because even if I wasn't making money, obviously, we're not charity. Like, we still, like, I still care about money a lot. Yeah. I will not probably do it for longer than a year, but I will still try it. Like, I will still do it now, knowing everything that I know right now. Even if I was gonna make $0 on the whole summer, I would still try it out for a year. I would still do it, just because you're gonna grow so much more into the person that can then go and make money. Because I've always said, and we've always said it, right? It's not the money; it's the person that you have to become in the pursuit of that money, right? And this job gives you that. it turns you into the person that can go ahead and make money in the real world. Because like what we do, this is the real world. Like you're not sitting, dude, I'm actually scratching for deals. Like I'm actually going out to the real world face to face, cold approaching people and signing them up for a service on the spot. That's what we're doing. So it's gonna build you, and it's gonna turn you into the person that can then go and get, make those phone calls and do all that money and make all that money easier. So you have to first become the person that makes $1 million and then goes and makes it.
Yeah.
And I feel like this job makes you the person who can go ahead to the real world and make some good money.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll probably finish off with this, but you look at the skills that you develop from doing any job like direct to consumer sales, and I always say that's where the actual value is, because in 10 years you're not going to have whatever money you earn in that 1 year of doing this job, but the skills will still be there, and those will be skills that you can capitalize on for the rest of your life. And if we could somehow quantify that or calculate how much money those skills actually make you, it would be astronomical.
Yeah.
Right? So I think the biggest difference.
I wish there was something that could calculate that, right?
Someone make that the skill calculator. Hey, every video you watch, you just made $50. Can you imagine? But the difference between you and someone that makes 7 figures a year is do you think they work harder than you? I don't think so. I think it's information, right? So there's a couple ways you can get information. You can pay for it. That's the easiest and quickest way to do it, right? Go and pay some serial entrepreneur, $250 million that has already done it. They'll give you that information. You may have to pay a lot for it, or you just surround yourself with people that are providing that information already, surrounding yourself with that network of people that have those visions, and you can find that information in certain environments, right? And I think that's the last thing that I want to touch on with door to door is the environment that you just naturally have for you, the network that's there. It's something you won't see anywhere else, right? Everybody in these rooms, they're all talking about going and starting their own businesses, going and moving into, their chosen sectors and crushing it. So if we could quantify that, the network that you create with this job.
Yeah, huge.
That's almost the most valuable piece right there.
And I already know it. Like, our relationship, like, between you and me, it's probably a $5 million relationship.
That's it?
Maybe 10. Who knows? 10. But we don't know it yet, right? We don't know it.
Yeah.
My relationship with Bruno, with Juan, with James, those are $1 million relationships that, and we don't know until it's done, right? But, yeah, definitely. And also, like, you've made, hundreds of thousands of dollars, doing it. But I'm pretty sure that it, for you, it's not even the money, but all the relationships that you've created that's more valuable to you. So even going back to the previous question, no, it's not the money. It's not why we do it. Like, sure, like, money is important and money needs to make sense. It's through money who how you can get, all the freedom and all that stuff, but it's not what we pursue out here. We pursue that. We pursue impact. We pursue relationships. We pursue growth. And if you do that, the money's gonna come. Mm-hmm. Anyways, the money's gonna come. So, I generally don't care about that stuff. Like, I don't care about, cars. I don't care about, like, sure, it will come, and I want it all. It's great, but I'm not pursuing that. I'm pursuing growth and relationships and net worth and network, which will turn into
net worth.
Net worth. Yeah.
Let's go.
And because I know that will bring the rest, and that's what we do out here.
I love that. Okay, well, an amazing session. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for having me on this side. Again, I'm honored and humbled by you guys. I learn every day from all of you guys, and I hope to, that's my only purpose out here is just keep growing.
Keep growing. I love that. And, I'm grateful. I mean, first and foremost for our friendship. I feel like, you're part of my family. I feel like a lot of the legacy people are part of my family, but, you know, going and visiting your family down in Colombia. By the way, Cartagena, it is my favorite place in the world.
Let's go.
I didn't want to open up with that. Mexico City's close second, Bruno. Don't worry. But yeah, I'm grateful for, you know, our relationship that we've developed outside of business. You know, getting to know your family. But then I'm also grateful for our business relationship because you've also helped me learn a lot, level up. And I think that's something that I always try and teach people as they get more and more developed in this industry is you can learn from a rookie. You can learn from someone that doesn't even do this job.
Yeah.
So the second you close yourself off and say, oh, I've done this for longer, you know, I've started this business, you've lost, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm just grateful for, you know, all the ways that you've pushed me. You've maybe opened up my vision in certain areas. And yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Te amo.
More than you know.